Welcome to the Tucson NetworKings podcast. I'm your host, Gordy along with master networker and sales guru, Don Zavis. Together, we talk about how to get the most of your business networking in Southern Arizona. We'll discuss tips, tricks, what to do, what not to do, with some amazing people that know how to build lasting business relationships from this thing called business networking. So strap in and enjoy the show. Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of Tucson NetworKings podcast. We are happy to have our guest here with us today. My name is Gordy. I work for a company called First Digital Telecom. Do a lot of networking out there. Been networking here in Tucson for probably 10 or so years. With us, our co-host is Don Zavis from Don Zavis Sales Training. Sales trainer extraordinaire, right. I think is his official title.
That's right. Remember extraordinary.
Plus the best head of hair in the room.
Oh, please.
We have a special, and I say that, and I don't say this lightly. I have a special guest with us today. I've had a previous podcast about networking, and I've been trying to get this guy in here. Kyle Lewis from Spotlight Senior Services. He's a business owner, a magazine publisher,
right?
Networking host. He hosts one of the best networking events in town, bar none, by far. The most efficient, the most cost-effective, the most meaningful networking events, and it's Spotlight Senior Services. And typically it's a full group. So we don't advertise on our networking podcast or our networkingtucson.com website because we'd max it out, man. If we threw it out there, but it's those that are in the know about this event. It's one of the best in town. Is for senior services. So, welcome, Kyle.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about Spotlight and what you do. And I know 25 years now.
That's 25 correct. Years this month, actually.
Wow. Fantastic. Congratulations.
Talk about longevity, yeah?
Yes. So tell us the story. We want to hear the story about it.
Absolutely. So I'm the founder of Spotlight. And 25 years ago, September 2000 is when we kicked off Spotlight Senior Services.
Okay.
And
in Phoenix, right?
In Phoenix.
So that's another thing. Kyle has joined us all the way from Phoenix, came down to talk to us. So we're very, very glad to have him.
Well, it's great to be here. And I love Tucson. I'm in Tucson quite a bit, actually. Okay. So not just for our events, but I love working with the people in Tucson. So.
Okay. So go back. I'm sorry to interrupt you there.
No problem. So 25 years ago. So at the time, well, let me just go back a little bit. In 1996, I started working in senior healthcare.
Okay.
So I was a marketing director for a home health agency. And did that for a little while. And then I worked for an assisted living community. That was my step into senior healthcare. And then I decided, I would love to go out on my own and represent small companies and help them grow. And so I repped 4 or 5 different companies that provided services for senior care, but were non-competing. So I got to sit down with a lot of social workers, a lot of discharge planners. And this is in the late 1900s, so it's a while ago.
I just love it.
And I found that they didn't have a great resource of information. They had brochures that people would bring in for them, and they would take them and put them on the shelf behind them or in their drawer. And then when they had a need, they're like, oh, I think I have something on that. And they would look for it, and maybe they could find it, maybe they couldn't. Maybe the company was still around, maybe it wasn't. And so I had this idea I could help them relieve a burden. And I put together a 3-ring notebook. It was 3 inches thick with all the state lists in there. And then companies would pay me to put their informational flyers in them.
Right.
And then every quarter, I would go take their old one and give them a new one, updated version. So that was great for a while. But after a while, we realized that it wasn't always perfect, because if they were doing a home visit, it was a big, heavy binder. They didn't want to take it with them. And families didn't have an opportunity to go through it themselves.
You can't lug this big thing with you.
Right. So it was great for their desk, but it wasn't great for giving out to families. So we went to the printing business, and that's how it all got started. And
you have a
so this is the current
Yeah.
Nice and
addition.
lightweight. You can take it anywhere.
You can
put it in your pocket.
You could pretty much put it in your pocket.
So what's in there now again, and who does that magazine serve?
So this is for senior adults and their families, as well as senior healthcare professionals.
Okay.
So our focus is to get this into as many seniors and their families' hands as possible, as well as senior healthcare professionals, because this is a great resource for them as well.
And you can find those at a grocery store. And
They are in the Tucson area. We don't have them in grocery stores right now, but doctor's office is a huge outlet for us, as well as some of the hospitals, skilled nursing and rehab centers, home health and hospice. Some will put their admission packets when patients come on board with them. Nice. So we have a great distribution, you can imagine, over 25 years. But then we decided, it would be great for everybody to get together. And that's how we'd give back to the senior healthcare industry, bringing everybody together, figuring out how we can close the gap, how we can help the seniors help each other reach seniors and better serve the seniors in our community. So that was our focus with Spotlight.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did that happen? How was your first one? I mean, how'd you plan that, or how'd that all come about?
Well, I had a pretty good hold on the senior industry. And so I just approached a few people, said, would you like to host an event? We'll bring in the people, you provide the breakfast.
How'd you market that? How'd you market that?
Yeah, so I just went around on my
all right
in my car,
sweat and tears.
my office on wheels, and I hit the streets and I just put it out there. And then this is back before emails.
Okay.
Most social workers.
Yeah, I was going to say,
most social workers didn't even have a computer on their desk.
Yeah, you had to walk in.
So we were faxing information, faxing the updates. When's the next event? We made newsletters that you had to print out, fold, copy, fold, label, and stamp, and put in the mail.
Wow.
So things have changed a lot.
Okay, yeah.
Now we're digital online. Our resource guides are digital. And then all our Spotlight advertisers do have a profile page on our website as well. So our website's great. It's searchable, easy to find what you're looking for.
I think you picked a good market, too. I'm from Michigan originally. And in Michigan, there was 1 or 2 tracks when you were a senior. You went to Florida, you went to Arizona. That was it, depending on what you liked, right? And so Arizona, certainly Tucson and Phoenix, has a really very substantial senior population. Some are snowbirds that go back and forth, but I even find the snowbirds eventually they end up staying here, right? They don't give up this and stay in Minnesota. They end up staying here, and that was one of the things even for my grandparents when I was younger. There wasn't this compendium of senior stuff. You had to, kind of be your own expert and search it out, and yellow pages and, newspapers and word of mouth. And it was a really cumbersome, onerous system to try to do. And that's what I love about yours, even that little pamphlet. If you just had that and you had a senior challenge in your world, I guarantee somebody solves it in that, slip in your pocket pamphlet. That was the perfect resource and it didn't exist before you did it. So that's you to be commended. I mean, I have great respect for the entrepreneurial drive, and clearly that solving a problem.
Saw a need and solved a problem.
Yeah.
On that note, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. The Tucson NetworKings podcast is in search of a full-time sponsor. Let me tell you what's included. You get 3 episodes per month, 3 commercials per episode, including logo and professional voiceover message, 1 mention on the actual podcast with some witty banter, and your business name will be added to the sponsored by title on every podcast format. If you'd like to take advantage of this awesome opportunity, contact Gordy at 520-329-2923 or TucsonNetworkKings@gmail.com.
And we are back to a topic that should be near and dear to everybody in our listening audience. If you're not following, I'm 64, so I'm now inching into Seniorville, but most people may have parents that have some issues and challenges. And we were talking during the break. The one thing that I found from my parents was there wasn't really a good compendium of resources. It was, you had to find your own. And, we would talk to one company and they didn't say, oh, you got this problem, call Bob. They were like, yeah, we don't know. So, I mean, I love that idea that there's a singular resource. I love even better, everybody gets together. I'm a long-time networker. I believe that professional selling is still a face-to-face, eye-to-eye, belly-to-belly business. And one of the things that we say in our show and in the networking group Gordy and I share is that networking starts where every other form of marketing hopes to end up, which is face-to-face.
Right.
You know, you get these people in the room, that propels the conversation so much faster. They can share best practices and what's working and what's not working, or, you know, client issues they have, and share and share those clients among themselves that they can really help. That's life changing, you know, and I don't say that to be dramatic, because we went through issues with both my parents. You get a good resource, that's life changing. You go from problem to the check mark in the solution box when you get, you know, someone like yourself involved. So thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. And you know what? Many times they don't know what services they really
Well, they don't know what they don't know.
Right. And so when they have the spotlight in their hand and they're going through it, they're like, oh my gosh, this would really help us out. I never even thought of that.
A trust
I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So it's a great resource for them.
Yeah, awesome. So, like I mentioned, your events are some of the best. I think the best run. Don and I actually have an event that we do in the third Friday of the month, and I'll be honest, I've stole a few of your little things that you do and put it into ours.
We only steal from the very best, though.
Yes,
Just
exactly.
from the very best.
How did your how did your format take place? Did you just come up with that, or did you get it from somebody else? Because just the way it's ran timely. There's an educational part of it. You have a connection break in the middle. That's what Don and I have
Totally stole that
as well.
Yep.
So
Yep.
how did you come up with all that? Is it just kind of morphed into over 25 years, or?
You know, we've been doing the same thing for a long time.
Okay.
We found something that worked.
Okay.
I just kind of came up with it. I thought, you know, education is great, but we want everybody to be involved and interactive as well. So what we do, they get to come early, they network, they get their breakfast or lunch, depending on which. And then they have the opportunity to network that way. Once we get everybody seated, we give everybody an opportunity to stand up to briefly introduce themselves so we know who's in the room. Then we have 3 speakers, and then we take a networking break.
Yes.
And then that networking break is what I call a connection break.
Yeah.
We're here to connect.
That's absolutely.
And, you know, it's not a large amount of time, but it's enough time to really build that relationship with someone enough to set up an appointment, get with them again later. It's like, who can I meet today? What can I do for them? And when can we meet again and figure out how we can work closer together to serve our seniors?
Well, we'll always say that this shouldn't be the only time you meet. This is just the first time you meet.
Right.
And that's enough to kind of, you know, propel that relationship and development. And again, we also say, and I love the idea that you say, you know, 3 people. You know, I believe that if you can make 3 substantial contacts at every networking event, that's a good utilization of your time. And to me, that really is. I mean, we're all in a time crunch. You know, everybody has obligations, financial and otherwise, and these amazing resources where you can get all of the players together, and I let you know, again, best practice and what's working and what's not working, to me is invaluable. No, I'm not surprised that you wouldn't be filled 3 times as much as you are right now.
And the venues too. How do you get your venues?
So we're very blessed. We are always scheduled about a year out or further even.
Okay.
People love hosting Spotlight because
and they're typically at senior facilities.
Senior communities, sometimes skilled nursing, and others at other times. But it gives them an opportunity to show off their community, show off their chef, the food that they give their residents, and we bring in people for that. And it works for us as well because we have a place to meet. So
yeah, it's great. You do an excellent job picking the venues. I love that they do show off, even though they think they don't. I think we were at one, and the executive director came out. Oh yeah, we always eat. Yeah, you always have shrimp and ribs and everything else that we're all eating today.
Well, think about it. You want to put your best face forward when you've got a bunch of people connected in the senior world.
Yeah,
I mean, I can, as a capitalist, I can totally be on board with that.
Yeah. How about guests? Now, I think I started coming when I was selling insurance, and then I started. I moved over to the telecommunications field, and I just love the senior industry. I love the people in it. They're the most amazing people in any industry. They're laughing in the morning, crying in the evening, and start the day all over again with a smile on their face. I haven't met a single person in the industry that I haven't liked and isn't a great person. So I'm glad you let me, even though I'm selling internet, I mean, they're just trying to sell internet to these homes, but I know we have everything from plumbers to insurance agents and going all the way. I mean, is that something you want? Is that, because I always wondered about that.
Yeah, we're an open networking group, and we encourage guests, we encourage people to come out and join us. If their focus is serving the senior adults in our community, then we want to work with them.
Okay. How about servicing the people that service the? I mean, that's kind of where my angle. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting, and it's very cost effective. I think it's probably the greatest value in networking in Tucson, other than for a paid event. What's your cost?
Yeah, so we ask for $80 a year for up to 3 people in their organization.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, we keep it,
and usually meals included with that too. So that's a great deal. That's a great deal.
I just need a drink of water.
No,
here, sorry.
no worries. What we'll do is we'll take a quick break and allow Kyle to get a drink here, and we'll be right back. The Tucson NetworKings podcast is in search of a full-time sponsor. Let me tell you what's included. You get 3 episodes per month, 3 commercials per episode, including logo and professional voiceover message, 1 mention on the actual podcast with some witty banter, and your business name will be added to the sponsored by title on every podcast format. If you'd like to take advantage of this awesome opportunity, contact Gordy at 520-329-2923 or TucsonNetworkKings@gmail.com.
And welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. I wanted to ask our guests, because one of the things that we say in the networking world, and Gordy and I are, we created this podcast because I believe we saw a need. And one of the things that I always say is, if you can't find what you want, make it. And I would imagine somewhere very early in the iteration, which ultimately became what your organization is now, somebody said, God, wouldn't it be great if we could all get together? And what I see is that, people say that 100 times, and yet only one actually says, you know what, that's a good idea. I'm going to do it, because at that time you've got no model, right? You don't know if it's financially feasible. You don't know if anybody would come. Right in the beginning of your, the podcast or the group or the magazine, what hits you to make you say, look, I'm going to do it? Right. I know there's a need. Maybe other people know there's a need, but I'm going to do it.
That's a great question.
A lot of times for me, it's just I'm stupid. I think all my ideas are great, and sometimes dumb luck. Yeah. That's probably not yours. You seem smarter than I am. But, what made you say, look, I'm going to take that leap of faith, and I really think the market needs this?
So that's a great question. So I like taking baths. So one night I was taking a bath, and I just had this idea come to me. I said, the question was, what would I really love to do in senior healthcare? And the idea came to me to put together the resource guide, have events where we can come together and network.
And this was in the bath?
This was in the
Can
bath.
you tell me, do you have a special soap or something?
That's where I feel
inspirational
most
shampoo.
Intuitive, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I give my inspiration in water. So water's the thing, I think. But anyway, so that's kind of funny. But so I went out and I interviewed social workers. And I said, if there was a resource guide out there, what would you like it to look like? And something that was important to them is that under Medicare certified state licensed, that everybody was listed, whether they advertised or not. I said,
Really?
That's a really important thing. So we'll do that. We'll make sure we have the list in there of everybody, and that if they want more coverage, they can purchase an ad with us.
But at the very least, they would have a listing.
Right.
I love that, because that makes it truly a resource guide, not just pay to play.
Right. So we do list the Medicare certified ones. We don't list all senior health cares, obviously, but the whole book would be a phone book.
Yeah, true.
So we don't do that. But that was important to them. And that's how I got started. I remember telling my wife at the time, I have this idea, I'm going to quit my job and do this. She said, you're going to do what now? And I remember later, friends would come up to me in the industry saying, when you started this, I thought you were crazy. And I'm like, you're not alone. I guess a lot of people did, but I'm glad you didn't tell me that.
Well,
because it's really great.
Well, sure, the early adopters, the person that comes out with it, whether it is hard, it's that leap of faith, and it's looking at the market, say it's missing, and again, inspiration comes in the craziest of places. I'm clearly glad that you did it. Do you find that you have these inspirational things frequently, like, as your organization has gone through iterations, at some point in time, you said, we should have a magazine. And I took another bath and said, we should do a live event. And, then I'm taking a shower and it's like podcast. What do you have a next step?
So
what's the future?
The future, with technology, AI, things coming up. So there's always places to look. How can we serve better and just expand outside the box? I'm trying to think outside the box. We've been doing inside the box for a long time, and it's been great.
Yeah.
But so I'm open to new ideas and considering
Any podcasts in the future?
we're considering it.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I think it would be great. Senior healthcare podcast.
So I have a question. This is something I've always wondered. You host events here in Tucson. You host Green Valley, Northern Arizona as well, and Phoenix.
We do. So we do somewhere between 5 to 7 events every month throughout the state. So we do cover the state. We have a Tucson, Southern Arizona resource guide and events. Okay. We have Phoenix, Phoenix metropolitan area, the Maricopa County, and we do 3 events every month there. And then Northern Arizona, we'll do some, mostly in Prescott, but a couple times a year we will throw in a Flagstaff event as well. Yeah.
Now, do you see, so my question is, do you see a difference in networking between Phoenix and Tucson?
I do.
Okay. What is that difference?
The difference is Tucson comes together like family.
Okay.
It's just wonderful to see how, there's great people in senior healthcare.
Sure.
I've made some wonderful friends over the years, and if they're not great, they probably don't last long.
Yeah.
They have big hearts.
True. Yeah,
they have big hearts in senior healthcare, and I see Tucson really coming together, working as a team to serve our seniors. So I do notice that. Not that doesn't happen in other areas, but I really notice it in Tucson. Yeah.
Yeah. I lived in Phoenix for 10 years, and it's a little bit more transactional. Whereas Tucson, I think, is a little bit more relationship. Everything's kind of relationship based, more like family. So a little small town feel.
Yeah.
I love Tucson.
Awesome. Small town with 1 million people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kyle, tell us how people can get a hold of you, what you want, whether you open invite for Spotlight, or you want to keep it to helping seniors, tell us how we can get a hold of you.
Sure, absolutely. If you're focused
in your magazine.
Yeah, if your focus is senior adults serving our seniors, we would love for you to come out and join us. You can go to our website, spotlightseniorservices.com, click on healthcare professionals, and you'll see where our events are throughout the state.
Okay.
Tucson's the 3rd Thursday of every month, so we're always here. And come out and join us. Take a look and see what we can do for you.
Yeah, I know you're allowed to visit once or twice, and then your assistant will, hey, you going to join or what?
Give you the nudge.
Absolutely.
And by the way, you can always get a hold of Kyle, too, through Gordy or I. Reach out to the show. We'll make sure we get you connected up there.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Anything else you want to add?
I just want to thank you guys for having me on.
No worries.
No, this is my pleasure.
I've been listening to your podcast.
You were actually on the short list. So when we didn't have anything, we just had an idea. And I said, well, who do you think we should talk to? And he's like, oh, yeah, here's the scroll. And your name was actually on literally the short list of the short list.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
like I said,
because it's a wonderful program.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful idea, wonderful concept. And I love the idea that, again, if you can't find what you want, make it. To me, that is the absolute structure of an entrepreneur.
Yep.
So
thank you, guys.
All right. Well, that's our show for this week. And we thank Kyle for being on. Thank you, Don.
Absolutely.
And, thank everyone out there listening to us. And stay connected, everybody.
Thank you.
You've just experienced the Tucson NetworKings podcast. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe for more great tips about networking in Southern Arizona. If you'd like to leave a question, comment, or future topic, you can email them to TucsonNetworKings@gmail.com. Also, if you'd like to know more about all of the networking events happening in town, make sure and check out networkingtucson.com. That's networkingtucson.com. Know where to go.